What's up, guys? Welcome to the Fomo Factory. If you want to make the most out of crypto, in my opinion, three things are super important: finding the right coins, finding the right entry, and finding the right exit point. Now, I talk a lot about these entry points as I say that it's not the best time to buy altcoins yet. A lot of people appreciate that. A lot of people don't really like that as they want me to just talk about altcoins. Let me in this video show you these three steps exactly and the indicators, the charts that I am looking at, that if I am dead or something and you feel like, fuck, now I don't know when FOMO would have bought, then you still know when I would buy. So let's take a look at that. In the meantime, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on your bell notification, and let's get right into it. So first of all, Bitcoin. I want to talk really quick about this because I think this is quite important. What we see right here is that Bitcoin was going up from the beginning of this year, basically. This is the 2nd of January, as you see on the screen. And since then, Bitcoin has been in this upwards trend. We had a perfect touch right here, as that's the first candle, so you can draw it whatever you want, so it's perfect. But then we had this big fake out right here where Bitcoin went from, well, 22K all the way down to 19.5 in 1 week, but bounced all the way back up to, well, 22 again, basically. After that, a huge spike, slowly fading back down. Bitcoin again finding support at this trend line and again going up. And now it broke that trend line to the downside. Now I am quite curious to see what Bitcoin is going to do. And I think there are, in this case, two likely scenarios. Either Bitcoin is going to be boring for a couple of weeks, or Bitcoin will go down hard. Why do I say that? Well, it's very simple, basically. This trend line has been lost right now. So this has been the trend for the complete year. So we broke that to the downside. However, Bitcoin is finding support at the bull market support band, where it's also been above for the complete year. We broke above that in January. We had support here and we had support here again. For your comparison, if people, they really want me to talk about altcoins, well, if I look at that same metric for altcoins, you know, we broke above it, but we did not have that clear breakout and we fell below it again. So altcoins are still finding the bull market support band as resistance at the moment. The bull market support band basically shows, is an asset in a very bullish trend or is it in a very bearish trend? Now for Bitcoin, the market looks completely different, as that's in a pretty much bullish trend right now. So what could happen is that Bitcoin will find this diagonal line as resistance, but the bull market support band still as support, and therefore it bounces around here for a couple of weeks. That's something that I consider a possibility, that it will be pretty boring, and that it will go anywhere between, yeah, 20, well, it can go to the lower side of it, so let's say $28,000 and $31,500. It's not the smallest range, but it's also not a huge range. Basically, it's just doing this for a couple of weeks, and that's, in hindsight, it's pretty much sideways, right? What also could happen, in my opinion, is that Bitcoin will now finally break down the bull market support band and yeah, has the correction that it has in every pre-halving year. And yeah, for your info, why do I say that? Like it happens every year. I showed this quite a lot on the channel. 2015, 2019, 2023, that's the pre-halving year, right? Next year is the halving. And every pre-halving year, basically, Bitcoin finds its bottom. We go, you know, up pretty hard at the first half of the year. Second half of the year, we go down very hard. We find either a new bottom or pretty close to the bottom. Happened here as well. Beginning of the year, pretty hard pump. Second half of the year, under the bull market support band, come down quite hard. Now Bitcoin is doing the exact same thing, right? First half of the year, pretty hard pump, and now, well, it also shows by breaking this trend line right here that the strength is cooling off a little bit, and that we probably, in my opinion, go down for the rest of the year. Doesn't mean we have no green days or weeks or even months, but overall I think that's the direction for Bitcoin. So that's one thing that I am looking at. But let me rewind a little bit first. How do I apply these 3 steps to my tactic of investing in crypto at the moment? Well, like I said, you have to find the right coins. You have to find the right exits and the right entries. But what most people do, they skip one of those and they just focus on finding the right coins first and then looking at the potential exits. Well, that's not really what you should do, in my opinion. Do whatever you want. But what I do is this. I first look at the entries, then I look at the coins, and then I look at the exits. Like, we are now in a bear market. I'm not even focused on exits right now, right? If I invest in Gala or something, for example, yeah, I can now already guess like, oh, Gala is going to be worth this or worth that. I don't know. Let's first see if Gala survives. Let's see what they build in the coming bull market. We have no information yet to base a price prediction on. It's quite, yeah, we have the charts, of course, and you can do a lot with that, but the charts don't show if Gala will survive in the first place, or any coin, right? And it sounds like, well, yeah, well, these coins are going to survive anyway. I don't know, man. If you go exactly 4 years back in time, so August 2019, you will look at the top 100 coin market cap history, and you will see a lot of coins right there that are not relevant right now, let alone outside of the top 100, right? So in this period of the market, coins can and will still die. Now, of course, I do totally think that coins that there are right now have a way better use case and are way more useful. Back in the day, the tokens were quite useless. But still, it doesn't mean that every coin is going to survive this market. So what I do first is I look at the potential entry points before I even look at specific altcoins. So what charts do I look at to consider for myself, like, should I invest in altcoins now or not? Well, these are quite a lot of charts. I will try to go over it quickly and I will make separate videos to explain each and any one of them. So the first thing that I basically think is most important is the stock market. So the S&P or the NASDAQ, doesn't really matter. They really move pretty correlated. But the S&P really shows us that if it goes down, that Bitcoin goes down as well, right? The S&P just have a correction. Bitcoin, what did it? Went from 30, well, almost 32 to 29. I think that crypto is really following the macro, at least on its way down. So the S&P is something that I look at. Then I also, of course, look at Bitcoin. Why? Well, it's very simple. We all know that if Bitcoin goes down, then the altcoin market goes down as well, right? Unless we are in that period of the market where the Bitcoin dominance is going down quite hard, then altcoins can still go, you know, sideways or up while Bitcoin is actually going down. But now we are not in that part of the market. We see that every time that Bitcoin goes down, the altcoin market goes down as well. And it's pretty funny that if we look at Bitcoin right now, and we overlay the altcoin market, the total 3, which is the orange line right here, you just see that whatever Bitcoin does, altcoin market doesn't really care. But whenever Bitcoin goes down a bit, the altcoin market goes down quite hard with it as well. What I also look at is the Bitcoin dominance. This is probably one of the most important charts. If you invest in altcoins, you should look at this chart. The Bitcoin, no, sorry, video was lagging, but the Bitcoin dominance has been in this range for 2 years. And it now finally broke out of this range, clearly. And it didn't break out this multiple year range to have a pump of like 7% and fall back down in that range. Always when the bull market starts, or when Bitcoin is in, you know, has the bull market in front of it, the Bitcoin dominance runs. Last time as well. And at a certain point, Bitcoin will go down in price. If the dominance still goes up while Bitcoin goes down, it means people are putting more money from altcoins into Bitcoin. But if Bitcoin goes down, then yeah, you can only imagine how hard altcoins are actually going down. So the dominance is something that I am looking at. This whole first red area right here, this box between 52 and 53%, give or take, is a big resistance level. And you see that we found resistance right here, but I do think that we are going to break this resistance at some point. And then the next resistance is quite a bit higher, and this really is the move that gets altcoins down really hard. If I look at this chart right here, then I can't help but think like, okay, altcoins run hard when the Bitcoin dominance goes down. Can it go down that much? Right? Like, yeah, we can go lower than this is not the bottom, but then again, we had so much ICO, VC money, everything in altcoins, NFTs and all of that. And still we weren't able to take this low out right here in 2018, while altcoins weren't basically really that popular compared to Bitcoin. Well, it was, but it's so much more mainstream, right? So what does it take to get down there? I don't know, a pure altcoin bull market. And the only thing that's driving people to think that there's going to be a bull market right now, narrative-wise, is saying that there will be a Bitcoin ETF. I don't see it with altcoins, really, I don't. Not at this point, right? It will come, but not now. So, yeah, the Bitcoin dominance is something that I definitely check out. Also, of course, the total 3. This is just the altcoin market, including stables. So this is the complete crypto market without Bitcoin and Ethereum. Well, this is finally something that we broke. This years-long downtrend that Bitcoin broke back here in January. Altcoins finally broke it in July, 7 months later. It shows, it just shows, right? Like, okay, if altcoins are running 7 months behind, then shouldn't Bitcoin be a very good indication right now of what might happen? Also, that the total 3 is still under the bull market support band, like I said, and yeah, it struggles still. So if altcoins are getting smacked down constantly, then it's just not a good moment. Also on the, well, also quite high time frame, but shorter than what you see right here, you see that it's making lower highs. So the trend is still down for altcoins, right? And that's something that I think is super important to look at. Like, is the trend up or down, right? If it's up, then you make money. If it's down, then you should not be there. And if it's going pretty much sideways, that's where you should accumulate. Also, what I look at, one of the last things in this case, altcoins on their Bitcoin pair, right? So if the Bitcoin dominance goes up, you will see altcoins on their Bitcoin pair go down. That's the total 3, this chart right here, divided by the Bitcoin market cap. And then this is what you get. And this is a super clear chart, right? Bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom, right? So far, that's the trend, like playbook, right? So why should we buy in the middle? I don't know, right? And it could be, theoretically, that this goes down while Bitcoin is going up very hard. And then altcoins might not go down on their dollar pair. Might. But that's if you gamble that Bitcoin won't go down, which I think it will. But even if this is the case and Bitcoin won't go down, you can still get a twice as cheap entry if you buy it with Bitcoin, right? So then you have to have Bitcoin. Well, so far in this market, for now, Bitcoin is proving to be less risk and higher reward than altcoins, right? And you can, of course, name an altcoin or a couple that are higher reward than Bitcoin. There will always be. But overall, you'll see it, right? I mean, altcoins are going down since beginning this year compared to Bitcoin. So they're finally losing from Bitcoin. This was the whole period where Bitcoin was going down. Altcoins were also going down, but they were holding up against their Bitcoin pair. Now altcoins are losing against their Bitcoin pair. So I just think like, okay, if Bitcoin now also goes down, then altcoins are getting really screwed against their dollar pair. So that's basically what I am looking for when it comes to buying altcoins. Only then I will look at the specific altcoins to get into. I already have my watch list, right? I also, of course, look at the individual altcoins, right? Like, let's say Cardano, right? I don't care if you buy Cardano or not. It doesn't matter. I don't even know if I'm going to buy it. But I just look at this and I'll be like, okay, how's the trend? Well, lower highs. Lower low right here, right? It's cooling down a little bit. But then again, if you look at Cardano and its Bitcoin pair, well, it's not really cooling down. It had the biggest crash in a week that we have seen in the complete bear market so far, right? So this is showing extreme weakness. And you can look at a lot of coins. Dogecoin, for example, lower lows, lower highs, right? The trend looks a little different, but still it's going down. AVAX on its Bitcoin pair going down very hard. Delysium on its Bitcoin pair, well, sorry for this, but, you know, going down very hard. That's what I'm looking at. And only then, when I am in these coins, we're gonna discuss the potential upside and where they can go, and you know, give price predictions and see how much access we can make, right? I can say based on nothing at this moment, by the way, but yeah, Delysium is going to $300, for example. Okay, let's say $400. So how many X's can you make? Yeah, I don't know. Depends where you buy, right? If you buy it here at $50, yeah, you can make an 8X. Okay, great. If you buy it at $20, yeah, you can make a 20X, right? So it's about an entry. That's what I wanted to really let you know. I'm giving full courses, masterclasses, early calls, NFT calls on the Patreon. Shout out to the Patreon OGs right there. There's a link down below if you want to be there. Exclusive videos as well, podcasts, even personal consulting about your portfolio. So if you want to check it out, check it out. Like the video if you like the video. Leave a comment with what you think about this.